Hi yet in Business Studies students, and welcome to another narrated PowerPoint. We're going to continue to look at human resources, and we're moving on to section 4.2. That is the recruitment and selection of employees. Now, it's really worth you guys taking a lot of note of this, because recruitment and selection is a process that you're all going to go through in the next few years when you start your careers. We're going to look at it from the point of view of the businesses that are recruiting and selecting employees. Of course, you will be on the other side of that. You will be an applicant applying for these jobs, but you stand a better chance of getting the jobs that you want to get if you understand the way that businesses go about recruiting and selecting people. So it's really worth taking significant note of this lesson and subsequent lessons on this topic. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the questions highlighted in yellow here. Why do businesses need to recruit employees? What are the main methods of recruitment? And actually we won't get to it today, but in the next lesson we're going to look at what are the main stages in the recruitment and selection process. So, the need for recruitment. Why do businesses do it? Human resource management involves using the workforce of the company in the most productive way. So obviously, it's going to be great for a business if they can recruit and select the right people. And one element of human resource management is identifying, first of all, the positions that are required within the business. That is, what positions need to be filled, and then deciding who is the right person to fill those positions. What caliber of worker do we need? What skills do they need? What knowledge do they need? What experience do they need? Okay, and that essentially sums up the recruitment and selection process. So let's give you a little task straight away. Why don't you guys create a spider diagram to think of as many reasons as you can why a business needs to recruit and select new workers. On your spider diagram, I should think you've probably come up with some of the following reasons. Now, the need to recruit, for example, if you're starting a new business, an entrepreneur may wish to recruit employees for various reasons. First of all, there may be too much work to do. Maybe the entrepreneur simply cannot do all the work him or herself. Also, the entrepreneur may recognize that they themselves don't have all of the skills and knowledge and experience necessary to run a successful business. Therefore, they are going to go through the recruitment and selection process in order to try and find employees who can bring those skills into the company. For example, I have a friend who runs a restaurant quite near where I live, and that individual is not a cook. So that person needs chefs to work in there in the restaurant, and also it's very, very busy in that restaurant at times, and the restaurant will need waiters and waiting staff and bar staff. And so for those reasons, that business recruits and selects people. The same can be said of expanding businesses. As businesses grow, it stands to reason that they're going to probably need more employees. So increasing production, you simply need to recruit and select people to cope with the growing amount of work that needs to be done. And also, there's a very interesting term here, diversification. Now, diversification is when a business starts to sell new products in new markets. Most businesses, of course, concentrate on selling existing products in existing markets. But if you want to sell new products in new markets, we call that diversification. And it may be that when a company decides to diversify, it needs to recruit specialist workers in the new markets, the new industries that it's deciding to go into to produce the goods and services that it needs to sell in those markets to be successful. A good example is other people I know. They have a small holiday park and have decided recently that they would like to open a hotel. Well, it's very different running a hotel than running a holiday park where you simply rent caravans to people to stay in. A hotel will need specialist staff for reception, possibly bar staff, possibly certainly cleaning staff, and various administration roles, marketing, and so maybe that company doesn't have those employees at the moment and is going to need to recruit them. And also when employees leave or move on to other jobs in the business. Some employees decide to leave, they may retire, they may leave to take a break to raise their families. Employees may move to different businesses, and of course those employees often have to be replaced. And in addition to that, if the firm is promoting people or moving people to different jobs, a process we call redeployment, then they're going to leave a vacancy. And so if somebody is promoted to a new role within a business, the previous role that they did is going to have to be done by somebody, and so the firm is going to more than likely recruit a new individual. Now, broadly speaking, there are two main categories of recruitment methods. The first one is what we call internal recruitment, and that is appointing an existing employee within the organisation to the new job. Alternatively, there is external recruitment. External recruitment is finding somebody from outside the business who would like to come and work within the business. And businesses have to decide, should we recruit externally or should we recruit internally for any particular vacancy or position that they might have. Now, there are advantages to each, and as a good business studies student you need to understand and you need to know what these advantages are. So let's just run through very quickly the advantages of internal recruitment. First of all, it's really low cost. A good example is our own school. Sometimes vacancies arise which are advertised internally. And what happens when that occurs is Mr. Gibbs will announce it in the staff briefing in the morning, and then the job vacancy and the role and the person specification is pinned to the notice board in the staff room. Costs virtually nothing, so it's very, very low cost to recruit people internally. Recruiting people externally can be very high cost. If you go to a recruitment agency, for example, they can often charge thousands of pounds for their services, so that can be very, very expensive. Also, a really nice advantage of internal recruitment is it creates greater promotion prospects for existing staff, and so existing staff within the business are likely to be motivated, work harder, and likely to stay with an organisation if they can see that they will be moved to more important and perhaps better paid positions in the future. Okay, so it's a great prospect for staff working for the business to have that opportunity. Another advantage of internal recruitment is that employees know the business really, really well. They perhaps think that it's a business they like to work for, they enjoy working there, they know all the processes and procedures, they know the IT systems, they know their colleagues, they know all about the normal day-to-day aspects of working for that business. In addition to that, the business knows them. The business knows the abilities and skills of that employee. And so the business can really effectively target roles and responsibilities towards those people in terms of being able to internally recruit them within the business to newer roles and perhaps to higher paid roles and roles with greater responsibility. However, there are some benefits and advantages to external recruitment. First of all, of course, there's a much, much wider pool of workers. Perhaps internally within a business, maybe there might be, 50 or 60 people that could potentially apply for a job. External recruitment, there could be thousands. And so there's a possibility of getting certain skills, abilities, knowledge and experience if we advertise to a wider pool of workers. External recruitment can bring in fresh ideas. It can bring in fresh understanding of, for example, the latest processes and the latest technology within an industry. And so external recruitment is very, very valuable for that, and refreshing and changing the ideas. I'll give you an example in marketing. The average marketing executive stays with a company for less than 5 years, because companies are constantly wanting to turn over those marketing executives to refresh the perspectives and the ideas and the marketing approach that the business takes. Externally, there's more talent to choose from. Internally, there may be limitations on talent and ability and knowledge and experience, whereas externally, a business firm can choose those particular skills and talents and abilities that it's really looking for. It may not be able to find those internally, and it probably will be able to find those needs, those talents externally. And of course, there's no need to recruit another person if you've promoted somebody internally. If you get somebody externally, you're not effectively creating a vacancy within your own business. If, however, you promote somebody, say, to a management position, somebody's got to do the job that they did previously. And so it's likely, if you're recruiting internally, you're promoting or redeploying staff to different roles, you're going to leave a vacancy where that individual came from. So you're going to need to externally recruit anyway. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of internal and external recruitment, and these really need to be learned. Now, here's a little task. Let's think about methods of recruitment. Once we've decided that we have a job available within our organisation, there's a role that needs to be filled, there's a task that needs to be done, we have to think about how we're going to recruit those new people. What methods are we going to use to find the people that we need to fill the roles? Here, have a little think about that and try to give 2 methods that a firm might use to internally recruit and to externally recruit. Give it some thought and try and fill in the table that you see on the screen. So here's some of the things that you might have come up with. I've given more than 2 here, but internal recruitment, sometimes, as we said, with internal vacancies at Reefham High School, Mr. Gibbs will tell the employees that the job is available and ask and invite people to apply. Also, you can be a little more targeted than that. You can actually target certain employees and approach them directly and invite them to apply for a job. If you think a person is particularly skilled in a role that has become available, they can be targeted directly and invited to apply. You can place ads in the employee newsletters, or you can pin advertisements to the notice board to tell people that the vacancies are available. And as I say, you can approach specific employees, and rather than invite them to apply for a job, you can actually approach those employees and offer them the new job directly. You can offer somebody promotion. External recruitment, I'm sure you came up with some good ideas here too, but of course you can advertise. There's advertising in newspapers, there's advertising through various recruitment websites. There's the Job Centre. The Job Centre is a government-run organisation. Every major town has one, so you can send your vacancies down to the Job Centre and invite people to apply through the Job Centre when they visit. Employment agencies, lots and lots of those. There's some hundreds of them actually, but big firms, big companies often use employment agencies to find the right people that they're looking for. Employment agencies are experts at doing this, and they're likely to be able to find some good people for firms that have any particular situation or vacancy. Headhunters, these are people who are asked to directly approach individuals and tell them that jobs are available. So a firm can say, right, this is a vacancy that we have, and actually we're thinking of approaching Mrs. Smith at that company down the road there, because we've got to know her, we think she's very good. Can you directly approach her and begin to ask her if she would like to come and work for us instead? And of course, there's the company website, and the company website is a website that anybody can visit, and you'll probably know that when you visit company websites, they have often vacancies. They have a little tab that you can click on saying vacancies or situations vacant, and you can apply directly to those companies through their own websites. All of those are methods of external recruitment. So that introduces recruitment and selection to you. So we've got some private study tasks. If you could take notes, please, from page 175 to 178 of your textbook resource, about halfway down 178, page 178. Take notes, please. So read and take notes. Attempt the 2 case studies there, Equinox Fitness, and there's a recruitment task about a school there, so have a look at that one as well. And then what I'd like you to do is just have a little bit of relaxing time, actually, while you're on your computers on the internet. Have a little look at the website of one of the leading recruitment agencies. I mean, I've suggested Reed Recruitment here, but there's plenty of others. And what you can do is you can go on the Reed Recruitment website and you can type in the type of job you would like and the location where you would like to work in the search box. So have a go at that, see what comes up. Read 1 or 2 of the job ads, and have a look at what skills and qualifications you would need to do to be in a position to apply for that job. And if you would like to have a little tweet, what did you learn today? What did you find tricky? What can you do better next time? And be as creative as you can. So that ends this lesson, and look out for next week's lesson, when we'll begin to look at the specific methods of how companies go about finding the right employees.